So, let's go ahead and get started for the first ever Keep It Simple, Silly Tekken. Because, as I was saying earlier, Tekken could be very overwhelming. It can be if you let it. If you let it, so keep that in mind. If you let it. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. We're gonna focus on the basics of the basics today. We're gonna focus on the basics of the basics. So, we definitely gonna focus on the basics of the basics. So, the first thing that we going to talk about is the options. And let me know if the music is too loud, because I'll make sure you guys hear what I'm saying. I took a lot of channel points away because we want to make sure we don't get too distracted on showing you guys and teaching you guys some of the basics if you decide to play Tekken one day. One thing about Tekken that you guys would definitely would like is that once you get used to the mechanics in Tekken, you can pretty much take it to any fighting game you choose. The only thing different is Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat is one of the only games that you have to hit a button to block. But other games like Tekken, King of Fighters, Street Fighter, all you have to do is hold back and you block. So some of the mechanics are the same, but of course from Tekken 3 to now it's more of a 3D world. You know what I'm talking about? So we're definitely gonna make sure that you guys be all good. But going back to the task at hand. So, we'll go to the options. The options is one of the most important features when you want to set your controllers up of how you want to fight. So, you go to controller setup. So, of course, controller setup, it shows you all the buttons that's in place right now. What you see right now is basically what I use when I fight, but since we're going back to the basics, we're going back to default. For this training purposes, we're doing restore default setting. So, you see that it says left punch, left kick, right kick. Those are the basics of the basics when it comes to Tekken. Of course, the range art, you got your shoulder button, which is R1, because I got the PS4 controller that we are using right now. And of course, you got the assist button, but we're gonna make sure that I show you guys you don't need the assist button at all. Because hopefully, once you be done with part one, you'll feel comfortable of what left punch is, right punch is, left kick is, and right kick is. Left punch is LP, right punch is RP, left kick is LK, right kick is RK. Now, this is what you want to remember, chat. This is what you want to remember. When you get done with all this, because I got a lot of parts. Once you get done with all this, and we start venturing out to learn the characters that you want to use, they're not going to use LP, RP, LK, RK. More likely than not, they use numbers. They say hit button 1, 2, 3, or 4. So, left punch will be considered 1. Right punch will be considered 2. Left kick will be considered 3. And right kick will be considered 4. So, in the next 3 parts will be coming the following weeks, we will continue to use that. But once we get to part 4, 5 latest, I won't be saying left punch, right punch, left kick, right kick. I'll start using numbers. Like left punch is 1, right punch is 2, left kick is 3, and right kick is 4. So, I'll be saying that during training too. So that way you guys get used to that as the time goes on. So for example purposes and training purposes, we are going to use the default setting on this game. Definitely use the default setting. Now here are the most important mode in Tekken. The most important mode is the practice mode. The practice mode is where you want to go to learn your character even further. It also gives you an idea how to fight different matchups as well. So, for training purposes, we're going to use Paul Phoenix. Paul Phoenix is the Tekken OG of OGs, right next to Kazuya, Martial Law, Heihachi Mishima, Yoshimitsu, Nina Williams. Those like the OGs of OGs. So we got the controller display right at the bottom middle, so you guys get a chance to see how I move and everything like that. The buttons too, controller buttons and everything. Law is good too though, King. Law is good too. Law is good too. You should teach us by using the easiest character in the game. See, you try to get them overwhelmed already, because Geese is not the easiest character. He is the hardest, in my opinion. He's one of the hardest characters in the game. He's even harder than King of Fighters. And I love King of Fighters. He's even harder in there. I barely know how to do Rage of Storm. Barely. And that's hard. That's a hard input. So, Paul Phoenix. Now, you might be wondering why I picked Paul Phoenix as the blueprint from Tekken, learning the basics of the basics. Paul Phoenix, to me, is one of the easiest guys to pick up in Tekken. But he is also the hardest character to master. The biggest reason why he's the hardest character to master because Paul Phoenix moveset is pretty much like Tekken 1. They add little new moves here and there, but his moves are pretty much exactly the same. So if you play Tekken as long as I have, then you know what to expect with Paul. But there are a lot of good Pauls out there though. So don't get twisted and say you can't master Paul. You can, but it's gonna be harder. And also, Paul has some movements that a lot of characters in the game have. So if you got the movements right with Paul, you can pretty much do it with anybody in this game. There are some movements that are a little different, like the giant swing with King, or the Mishimas, the God Fist, the electric God Fist. And of course, it's more advanced when they do that. But with Paul, this is going to be the blueprint of how to learn Tekken, of doing basics of the basics. Now, if you look at the bottom middle, and also if you look to the bottom right, we're going to show you guys, again, we're going to show you guys what left punch, right punch, left kick, right kick. Remember I showed you left punch? Yeah. Left punch is 1. So, when you hear someone say LP or 1, that means left punch. This is left punch with Paul. That's left punch. Alright? You see at the bottom right, you see with the default control settings that square, if you use a PS4 controller, square is your left punch. Alright? So that's 1, right? So keep that in mind. Left punch is 1. It's always going to be 1. Left punch is always going to be 1, no matter how you configure the controllers. Left punch is always going to be 1. Now, what's right punch? That's right punch. Right punch is RP, or it's going to be 2. But again, however way you configure your controller, it's always going to be 2. Right punch is always going to be 2. Okay, it's always going to be 2. And you see on the bottom right, that with the default control setting, that you see the triangle button is 2. Now, what is 3? You might be thinking, right? Left kick. That is 3. Left kick. So always keep that in mind. Same concept. No matter how you button map your controllers, that left kick is always going to be 3. Always going to be 3. Now, last but not least, you have 4. 4 is right kick. It's always going to be right kick. So as you saw on the default setting in the options menu, if you remember, if you look at the bottom right on the screen, you see the blue is 1 for left punch. You see the yellow, which is right punch for 2. You see 3 with the green, that's left kick. And you see red, which is 4. Alright? So, that is the basic of the basics of the attacks. And you might notice, when I'm attacking, you see there's a high. You see how it says high real quick? It's high. You see a middle. Then last but not least, you see a low. So that high, mid, low. So, in Tekken, this goes back to all the way to Tekken 1. It has a high, mid, low, get low, get don't get low. You see what I did there? But a serious tip, high, medium, and low. Now you might be wondering, what does mid actually do? What does mid do? I'm gonna show you. Let me show you something. That's what Fire Marshal would say from Living Color. So let me go ahead and show you guys what does that do. All right, you want to guard, crouching guards. Okay, so what does mid do? Mid basically punish opponents who likes to duck block all the time. But don't get me wrong, ducking is good defensively if you know your opponent always gonna go high. So for example, now you see there, with Kazuya ducking, he ducked all the Paul high moves, right? Now let's say if I try to do low, you see how y'all block that? So he's able to guard, but not guard, he's ducking the high and guard the low. A lot of players, even more advanced players, do that as well. So what the mid does, it punish that. So anytime you see someone ducking, use a mid to make sure that they respect that. Mids have different inputs for a lot of characters. So for Paul, all I gotta do is hit 3, which is left kick, and that's a mid. Or I could do down forward 1, which is left punch, which that's a mid as well. Of course, for my main Master Raven, I can do 3, which is left kick, or other things. Feng Wei, he can do down forward 1, which is left punch, to challenge those who crouch. So that's what the whole point is of having high moves, also having mid moves, and also having low moves. The highs are going to miss all day long. You're going to miss all day long. All day long, automatically. And especially if opponents are crouch blocking, they're going to punch that too all day long. But if you hit with a mid, they can't block. They can't do anything about that. They have to stand and block that. That's the only way they're going to block it. The only way they're going to block it, chat, the only way they're going to block it is if they're standing. See that? So that's the only time they're going to block it for the mid. If they crouch and you do a mid, it's going to beat every time. So keep that in mind. If you're writing notes, that's the one I definitely say, make sure you write that down. Because mids be a game changer, especially towards the end of the game. We'll talk about that a little later as well. So now, with the throws. So the throw, you want to hit left punch and left kick together. As you see on the controller and also on the bottom right. So, as you see on the bottom left, I hit left punch and I hit left kick. That is your left side throw. You can also input this on your button configuration if you like. I wouldn't recommend that. That's just my opinion on the shoulders, but we'll get to that further down on the line. But to do the left side throw, you want to do left punch, left kick, which once we get farther in class, it is 1+3. Because you fight blindfolded. I definitely could. I did it before. I could. It's hard as ever, but I definitely could. So you guys saw left side throw. That's 1+3, which is left punch, left kick. Now right side throw is right punch, right kick. You see that, the difference there? So you see, we're gonna go back. I'll do the left side again first for you guys. So that's left side. You see on the bottom right with the blue and the green, that's left punch, left kick, and advanced terms, 1+3. Now we're gonna do the right side throw, 2+4, which is right punch plus right kick. Throws in the beginning stage is good because a lot of newer players won't know how to Tekken, grab it at all, how to Tekken. So you can definitely throw it to death if you like. I definitely say in the beginning stage, you can throw them all day long and they won't know how to break them at all. Only in beginner stages though, to the new fighters. Only in the beginner stages, you can throw all day long. Because again, the newer fighters, I'm pretty sure that they don't know how to throw break yet. Keyword yet. So that's the basic throws that all fighters have. Y'all have 1+3, which is left punch plus left kick. Y'all have that. But not that particular animation, but they have the same button set up for that. And then right side grab. So they all have that. That is the throws. The basic throws of the game. Now, Paul does have more throws than that. He definitely has more throws than that, but we just focusing on the basic throws. Focus on that. So one more time, just in case of anybody that missed it. So left punch plus left kick, you get this. Left side throw. Then if you go closer, right side throw, which is right punch plus right kick. You get that. All right. Perfect opportunity. You can ask any questions if you like. You can ask questions about the button configuration, practice mode, attack buttons, high, mid, and low. You know, why is it important? If you want to know more detail, you can ask right now. And throws. So we hit 4 topics so far. We did button configuration. We went to default for training purposes. And also we talked about practice mode. Why is it important? Of course, it's important because that is the area you can learn your character. You can definitely learn the ins and outs of that particular character that you decide to main in this game. And you can take this with you in any fighting game because all the fighting games now these days have practice mode. Now, of course, we have the attack buttons. So like I said, we're going to help you get that embedded in your brain. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to hit this again because we're going to help you get embedded in your brain. We're definitely going to help you get that embedded in your brain. So, of course, left punch is 1. Always remember, left punch is always going to be 1. It's always going to be 1. Right punch, always going to be 2. It's always going to be 2. Left kick, always going to be 3. Always going to be 3. Last but not least, 4, that's right kick. The numbers is always going to be the same. No matter how you got your controller configured, from the gamepad to arcade stick, it's always going to be the same. When they say left punch, you're going to say 1. Right punch, you're going to say 2. Left kick, you're going to say 3. Then right kick, you're going to say 4. All right? So when I say 1+3, that's a throw. 1+3. And of course, 2+4, you got that as well. Y'all saw me do it a little bit because I had to get close to the opponent, right? Now we're going to talk about movement. Because you got to move close to get to your opponent, right? You got to, the whole objective in any fighting game, you have to get your opponent's energy all the way down to it says KO, right? The only way to do that, you got to get close to your opponent. So, to move to your opponent, move forward. Now you see on the gamepad, you also see on the bottom right that I'm moving forward, okay? Now, to move back, you just hold back. That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Just hold back to move back, okay? And if you want to duck, you hold down. Yeah. Of course, Paul is the only one that has that. And make sure to tell you, Paul's the only guy that has that, the little charge up, because nobody else doesn't have that. He's doing that to prepare for the somersault kick. You will not use this move as much with jumping. This is the only time you use it is when you fight against Yoshimitsu. When you jump, that's as high as you would jump. You hold up. Now, if you play Tekken 1 and 2, they have mad hops. I'm talking about like joint type of hops. But as time went on, jumps like this now. So we got that basic movement. Moving forward, you hold forward, hold it to the right, and of course, you want to back up, you hold left. Now, of course, if you're going to play a 2-side, play a 2-side, it's the opposite. So, of course, if you hold forward, which, of course, if you're going to play a 2-side, you're on the left side, then when you move back, you're on the right. So, of course, play 1 side, you hold left to move back, and then on the player 2 side, you hold right, as you see on the controller display, and also on the controller right now. So now, we got the basic movement, right? Now, how do you dash into your opponent? To dash in, just tap it twice, that's all. Or you can tap it 4 times. Or 3 times rather. That's it. Just tap it. Just tap it 3 times. That's run actually. 1. Dash in, just hit it tight twice. Dash in is twice. That's it, dash in. Just hit it twice. It's only good for when you want to get into your opponent when you ready to punish them when they do a move they're not supposed to be doing. Again, further on down the line. That's how you dash in. Hit it twice. That's it. Hit it twice. Same concept with backwards. Same concept. That's it. Same concept. Now, I would not abuse the backdash like that because some characters have moves that will punish you for doing backdashing like that. Again, that's further on down the line. Now here is a move that goes all the way to Tekken 1. Running. So running goes all the way back to Tekken 1. So if you want to run, of course you have to be full screen. That's how it works. You gotta be full screen to run shoulder tackle. But on the earlier Tekkens, it was unblockable. But now it's blockable, but at least you got a crouch state though. But if you run from like mid-screen, it does a tackle. I ain't got that far. That's my fault. I didn't get that far. I did not get that far. So we got a certain distance, and when you run, it tackles. So if you're all the way full screen, you're gonna give you a shoulder tackle. But if you like not all the way full screen, you definitely tackle. Running is good against beginners because beginners, what they like to do is hit that tag button right you run, and of course the shoulder tackle leaves you in a power crush state and you still be able to tackle them. But that's only if you have enough life to deal with it. So you can also kind of sort of abuse it, but I would not recommend it when you get to higher levels because opponents know how to deal with it. So that's the basic movement of the game. So you got forward, you got back, you got duck, you got jump. Let's talk about defense. Defense is very important in Tekken. You just can't button mash and hope for the best. A lot of times what will happen is that the players, especially the experienced ones, if they know what's going on, if they know exactly how to put up with it, then they know how to get counter hits. And counter hits is this game right here is unforgiving when you button mash. Unforgiving. I mean, you can go as far as Street Fighter 5 maybe, but Tekken is one of those unforgiving games. If you mess up, then your life, like, where did my life go? You know what I'm talking about? So you definitely want to keep that in mind that defense is very important. You don't want to button mash. You definitely don't want to do that. Paul is one of the characters that's unforgiving. Not unforgiving, but Paul makes you pay for doing something dumb. Paul will make you pay big time. He'll make you pay big time. Now, we're gonna use this as an example for Kazuya, because he did 1-1-2, which is left punch, right punch. He had that same move since Tekken 1, so that's why we're using Tekken 1 moves, because he had that since forever, right? So, on a defensive end, this is how you block. If you look on the control display, you see what button I push, and you also see it on the bottom left as well. To block, you hold back. So that's how you block. Just hold back. That's how you block. Just hold back. That's it. Just hold back. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Just hold back. That's all you gotta do. That's it. That's it. Just hold back. You can also block by not hitting any button. And thank you so much for the emotes, Hurricane Kitty. Thank you so much for flash effect all day, every day. You know what I'm talking about? You can also block by not hitting the button. Observe. Not hitting the button. Now, I would not recommend this all the time, but not hitting the button to block, because you want to create that habit of holding back to block. Because a lot of fighting games you have to hold back to block. The only fighting game you don't hold back to block is Mortal Kombat, because they have a designated button for blocking. Okay, but most fighting games you're holding back. No problem at all, Sama. We be here. No problem at all, bro. So, another reason why I wouldn't recommend not doing the block with no button is because there are certain moves that I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning. Is that some moves is gonna go past that, and it's still gonna hit you. So your best bet is to hold back. So we're gonna show you again to hold back. So that's how you block. Just hold back. That's it. Just hold back. The block is to hold back. Now, for example purposes. So just in case you guys missed it. Now, exactly, McChisel, exactly. The neutral block is funky on Tekken 7. He said, took the words right out of my mouth. It is funky. That's why we don't recommend not doing that. It's available, yes, it is available, but I wouldn't recommend it because, like I said, if you can learn these mechanics and know this blueprint, you can take this to any fighting game. Any fighting game. Because Tekken 7 is hard, to me, it's one of the hardest games to learn. But we learned the basics that will help you get the blueprint and go from there. But let me know what y'all think about the blueprint so far. I ain't talking about the Jay-Z blueprint. I think he stole my name to call it, even though I was born later, but still. But on a serious tip, now let's show you the importance of ducking. They are. They are, Ash Ketchup, they are. They really are. And I will respond to that in a second. They really are. There you go. So that's the importance of blocking low. So blocking low, you hold down and you hit left. As you see on the control display, you see the down and the back. But in reality, it's down, down, back. That's how you block lows in the game. That's how you block lows in the game. Parries will be part 2. Because again, we focus on the basic of the basics as if you never played Tekken in your life. So we doing the basic of the basic first. Alright? Remember I showed you guys about the mid and what that does? Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. Ducking all the time is not good either. And I'll show you why. Check this out. Now y'all see what happened? So y'all see Kazuya did high mid, right? High mid, right? So when I ducked the 2 highs, but the mid I can't do anything about it. And I can't even get up in time or anything like that if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I probably could, but ducking, you shouldn't be down there that long. If you see someone down that long, you can have a lot of, like I said, my Master Raven got a lot of tools for that. Feng Wei does, and Paul definitely does. I agree, duck in moderation. Yeah, you should only duck when you know your opponent's gonna do it low. Don't just stay down there and just hope for the best. Yeah, because that's not a good strategy either. That's definitely not a good strategy. But again, you will get hit by mids if you duck. You will get hit. I'm even holding back and ducking, I still get hit. So you will get hit with lows, with mids. You will get hit. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So anytime you know your opponent is going to hit a mid, you want to stand and block. Observe. See that? So mids are only blocked when you're standing. That's the only time you can block a mid when you're standing. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot block a mid when you ducking. You can't. That's never gonna work out for you. It will never ever work out for you. Especially if a opponent has a player that can jug you from a mid. Like my Feng Wei, for example, I can do down forward 3, or for beginners, down forward left kick, and I can do a mid launcher off that. Or I can do forward left kick to the right kick and have a launcher from a mid off that too. So like I said, be very careful when you duck. Only time you duck is when you know your opponent is going for a low. When you know for a fact he's going for a low, that's when you want to duck. All right. So that is the defense end. Now there are more defenses like parry from the crouch, but again that's part 2 because we don't overwhelm you guys yet. And of course sidestepping, but of course that's going to be part 2 as well. So again, don't want to overwhelm you guys at all. And we're also gonna talk about throw breaks, but again, that's later on down the line. So now, we're gonna talk about learn and practice simple combo. We're gonna talk about that. All characters have combos in this game. They all do. But we're gonna teach you step by step of how to do a combo. Okay? Like how to learn how to do a combo. So this is definitely something that you can use for all your characters. Now the characters might have different inputs as far as like doing the combos, but the step-by-step process is the exact same. Okay? So I'm gonna show you one of the simple combos with Paul. So let's start. Now, for the combos part, this is where your movement comes into play. Because remember when I showed you guys how to dash in, tap twice? That's gonna come and play here. And we'll go step by step. I ain't talking about TV shows step by step. So we all do step by step. Now, first move with Paul is the uppercut, which is down forward 2, which is down forward right punch. That's how you start your combo. Down forward right punch, which means down forward 2. Once you go further down the Tekken world, is down forward 2. But for beginners, down forward right punch. All right? So that's how you jump that off. Now, we got the uppercut. The next one that a lot of beginners should do, when you see combos like that on YouTube, practice doing them while they're on the ground just to get that timing. So you know this left hook, right hook is one of the combos that gets it to keep going. They call it the screw. Like that move, right? So of course is back left punch. And then once you do back left punch, you hurry up and hit right punch. And you keep doing it till you get used to it. Back plus 1, 2, which means for beginners, back left punch, right punch. Once you feel like you're used to it, now you add on to your step 1. So you know the step 1 is the uppercut. So, when you see your opponent do this, a little screw up in the air when they turn, that means you have time to dash into your opponent. But first, we want to make sure you know you can do step 2, which step 2 is left hook, right hook. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it till you get used to that step 2, okay? Because a lot of players did not just know all those combos just like that. You gotta take steps. Gotta take steps, okay? So we got step 2. Y'all saw the first step with the uppercut to the right hook. Y'all see that? Now, we're gonna show you guys step 3. Step 3 is dashing in, like that. Now, like I said, even though it's a basic move, but very effective, especially if you try to get to the combo ender. Very effective. Let me show you guys step 3. Step 3 is dashing in. Now, once you're used to that, you might be thinking, why didn't I push a button at step 3? That's because I was dashing in to my opponent so I can hit them again for a combo ender. A combo ender is where you finish your combos with a string or a powerful attack. Now push your character further to the wall. But again, this is a different time for a different day. We will talk about wall damage because again, we don't want to overwhelm you guys. Not at all. We want to make sure that we help you crawl, so you're able to walk, then you can run, then you get your strategy on what character you want to use and where to go to find out more about that particular character. Now, step 4. So, we got the uppercut, right? We got that. We got the left hook, right hook. We got that. We got the hook. We got the dash. I said the hook. We got the dash, right? So, the combo ender that I do, because I want the character to go to the wall. We call it the Demolition Man. This move has been in Tekken 1, 2, 3. But of course, as Tekken went on further, to add this in. So, we're going to add that in. But for you guys, you want to make sure that you get used to doing that move. That's one of the most important pieces when it comes to having muscle memory. You want to make sure that you are used to doing that move. So, of course, Paul, Demolition Man, is start off with down 4. That's the start off of Demolition Man. So once you do down 4, which is down right kick to right punch. So once you do that, down right kick to right punch, and then to end it, you have to hit left punch, right punch together, which of course, that's why I put button configurations, so I can use the shoulder button to do that, because my fingers, I can't do it in the time. You want to make sure that you're used to doing this move. Make sure you're used to doing this. That's the important piece when finishing combos. You want to make sure you can do this while they're standing, because there'd be no point of juggling an opponent if you don't even know how to do it while they're standing. Make it make sense now. Make it make sense. You gotta make sure you know how to do it while they're standing. So make sure you do it again. See, perfect example. Perfect example. Alright, so we got the idea how to end the combo. Now, let's add all the steps in. Let's add all the steps in. From step 1 all the way to the end. Check it out. Now, that's how you learn simple combos. Do step by step. You don't have to try to do all of it at once. That's how you get overwhelmed. When you try to do all of that at once, it can be overwhelming. Take your time. That's what practice mode is there for. You can be on practice mode for hours if you like. Put your favorite YouTube video, or have your Spotify going, or have your ESPN, or have your Love and Hip Hop going. It's not showing my wife watch. Love and Hip Hop. Married at First Sight. You can think of my wife. Married at First Sight. What's another one? The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But it's another one that's out now, but I can't remember. But anyway, the point is, put on whatever you want to put on. Your favorite show, your favorite music, and practice. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, till you can do it without looking. That's when you really challenge yourself to do it without looking. But before you do all that, get the basics down first. Make sure you know how to do an uppercut first. Make sure you know how to do certain moves to go to the screw. So when it goes to a screw like that again, the screw is when you know that you can keep the combo going. You can keep it going. But you can't keep it going forever. You can definitely keep it going to get the opponent to the wall. So anytime you see that screw, make sure you dash in and keep going. So, step by step. Don't trip if you mess up. Y'all saw me mess up a couple of times, but it's okay. That's the whole point. Practice mode is where you make all the mistakes in the world. And it's totally okay to do that. It's totally okay to do that. Now, might be a little different if you mess up in a real match. Might be a little different, especially in an important part. But it happens to the best of us because I messed up in important parts. But the point is, practice mode is a good area where you can get that down to a science. You can get that down. You can definitely get that simple combo down. Once you do, then you can do more advanced combos. I definitely hope that you guys learned everything from the beginning standpoint. Because like I said, my biggest goal is to have a blueprint for you guys. So again, just in case, we talked about button configuration. We talked about practice mode. Why is it important? We also talked about attack buttons, the high, mid, and low. We also talked about throws. We also talked about movement. We also talked about defense. And we also talked about learn and practice simple combo. Taking step by step to know how to do combos. All right? So that concludes lesson 1.